Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
And we are live. Welcome to the Right Now community, our 50th session, our 50th meeting of the Right Now Writers Group. Welcome, welcome, welcome as we meet every Wednesday at this time with other writers in the community to chat about writing and whatever is on our minds. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling consistent, accountable, or maybe you're just trying to get a little bit of work in? Well, regardless, we're going to try to see what writing shenanigans is on our mind today as we are celebrating 50. That's right. 50 meetings of the Right Now Writers Group. So whether you're looking to get some work in, or maybe you're just looking to hang out, we're here, we're getting started, and we are here. It has been a busy day. You guys know me, Kaufman, working on the last scarecrow today. As per normal, we'll see what I'm going to be able to do with my menagerie of animals in this current scene. So we'll see what's up. And I'm joined by my fellow writers, you know, everyone's favorite Chat Soul.
Hey guys. So Chat Soul here. For those who watched this weekend, I was actually the writer of Echo After Silence, which was one of the winners for the competition. Did not see that coming. The novel that it's actually being turned into is actually close enough. I can actually say I can see the end in sight, and I'm actually designing the cover.
Congratulations, Soul. That was so exciting. As you went through all the rounds of the judging experience, and that's awesome. So congratulations, my friend.
Yes, I did not see that coming.
Awesome. And we'll touch on Fade Fancy in just a moment. But first, let's give a big round of applause to Calvin. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey guys. I've been spending all week doing promotion on the new Storm book that comes out on Sunday. And actually I think I'm gonna hit my deadline of having the second book ready next year.
Awesome.
Ooh, that is exciting. Sounds like we've all had some pretty good weeks. Soul, you're getting close to finishing this next book, and Calvin, you're clearly getting close to publishing this first book. That's exciting. That's super exciting. Where are you guys at with your writing progress? If you're here in the chat, Nil, ML, I see you guys. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you, my friends. I know. Yeah, I don't even know what I'd rather talk about, because both those are exciting. Faded Fantasy and publishing. So I guess first, anybody who joined us for the Faded Fantasy competition this last weekend, it was fire. Thank you to everyone who joined us. I feel like we had so much fun between all the story readings, the judging, the games, and everything that was involved. I'm a little behind on my catch-up, so I still have to follow up on emails, surveys, get all the stuff out to the winners and connect with everyone and all that jazz. So I'll catch up with that at some point. But so the one thing you touched on was working on that you extended your story, which was one of the winners of the competition. There's two stories that won was yours and
I believe it was Out of Touch.
Yeah, it was Out of Touch. I was like, because it was between a couple. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Out of Touch, which both those were incredible stories. Both stories were absolutely incredible.
I had to laugh that one was from one was actually the fantasy category, and the other was the romance. That worked out wonderfully.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So we were really happy that we were able to make that work out in that fashion, and it was quite an experience. And by the way, Devin, welcome. Like Miss Doubtfire, hello. I remember watching Miss Doubtfire. What a great movie. Great Robin Williams movie. Susan, welcome. So I think we've all worked on shorter stories before, maybe. So what's that like, turning it into a bit of a longer story? Calvin, I don't know if you've ever worked on shorts yourself and you've extended them before.
It's really interesting. One of the things I took away from what the live judging experience was, they
Mm.
said it felt like it was a chapter that was taken out of a larger story,
Mhm.
which they're not wrong. It really did feel like that when I went back through and reread it. But now I actually get to take those characters and I get to expand on them. I actually get to take Tomo and Rosin and KL, and I
Mhm.
actually get to give them dynamic personalities, actually have them interact with each other, sort of, and I get to expand, and this is the part that I'm just loving. I actually
Mhm.
to completely flesh out the Zarin culture and make a working language for it. I've been having a ton of fun with that. So actually being able to take all of that and put more detail behind it is just been a lot of fun so far.
That is so exciting. So, how? So, okay. So obviously we know they were short. It was short stories and short flash fiction. What? How long is the core story going to shape up to be now?
I believe so far at 19 chapters, and chapter 19 is about about 2/3 of the way done. It's sitting at about 30,000 words.
Okay. So
I would
we're basically
say,
looking at a novella then, right? It's like the novella category.
well, maybe I'd say it might be a max of 60,000.
Okay.
It may be a max of
Um,
60,000 because,
so
without
might hit
giving,
that. It might hit a novel category. I
it'll be
think
on the
that
lower
50
end
to
of the novels.
60,000, that 50, 60,000 range is always the debatable part. Some publishers say it's 60,000, some say it's 50, but it really changes. But I mean, really at core, it's is how in depth is the core character arcs, and does it feel like it's a long enough character journey for a novel as compared to a novella, which is that kind of like weird range between short story and a novel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that novels are actually considered are supposed to be like 40,000 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, no, it's going to be somewhere in that 50 to 60,000 range at the max.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm without giving too much away, I'm actually at the part where Tomo chooses the love interest
Mm-hmm.
and is having like that moment where he's just like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. I got to make a choice. I'm actually at that point already.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little more to go after that where he actually kind of has that moment where everything like just seems to like fall down for him before it gets back
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say 10 chapters at the max, no more than 60,000 words. And it is actually considered a romance. It was
Mm-hmm.
never supposed to be considered a fantasy, which is
Mm-hmm.
why it did not fit into that category for the competition.
Yeah, and I mean, we had some learning opportunities for sure. I almost feel like I unintentionally set up the romance category for failure in the hopes to make it more accessible. So we've definitely had a lot of learning experiences, but I think regardless, we got some incredible stories out of the competition.
Oh yeah.
And we're not even done with everything, right? We haven't even hopped into the anthology portion of it yet, which is a whole nother aspect of the post competition phase. So I think that's really, really cool. And then I see, let's see, Davin, if my first book was a short story until my mom wanted more, I would not have published without her, right? That's why our support
I get
network
that.
is so, so important.
Yep.
Then you're like romance, it's 40,000 and under is novella. Interesting.
Yeah, mine might be just maybe just a shy over that. So it'll be like on the small end of a novel.
Okay. Calvin, what about you? Have you ever turned anything into like a longer book? I forgot how Storm originated.
Storm originated from that prologue chapter I wrote that you read all those like
Wow.
two
Was
years
was
ago.
that
That was
that
kind
was
of a
such a great prologue chapter. I remember
yeah.
having so much fun reading that.
It didn't really fit as a prologue because it seemed to be more of its
It
own
didn't. It
entity.
didn't. But it was such a great see. I remember that because I'm pretty sure that was one of our like really early episodes. I think that was
It
one of
was.
the.
It was. But
Oh man,
I,
Calvin, 200 stories later, and you're getting it published. There's something kind of cool about that, actually.
yeah, actually on Storm 2, I just was looking at
Mhm.
it real quick. I just hit 40,000 words on Storm 2. And like I said, we still got two more sections to go, and we just started
Mhm.
the fourth section.
That's exciting. How's so I mean, like I know you're probably splitting your time between working on the promo for Storm 1 and then also working on writing Storm 2.
Yeah.
How's the promo for book 1 coming out
Well,
so far?
I got yelled at by Facebook last night that said if I kept posting on any more Facebook groups, I was getting accused of spamming.
Yeah, you with Facebook groups, I learned this early on. You have to be you have to find a right balance because every Facebook group has different rules,
Oh no,
and
no,
some
this was
Facebook groups
actually
are mhm.
no, this was from Facebook itself.
Oh, from Facebook itself.
Oh.
No, no, this wasn't a group because I've had that a couple times where it's like, oh, I maybe didn't word it right, so it did come off as spam. No, this is Facebook. Like, you're posting to too many groups. I looked at it like, yeah, I posted to 39 groups in an hour.
Yeah, I mean, understandable. You're trying to spread the word out. Are you still going to do any in person stuff?
Yes, I have set up next month to go to a few bookstores and do some in
Ooh,
person.
that's exciting. That's
It is.
exciting. I hope you take pictures and videos and share it all. People love that type of thing, by the way. And for anybody who hasn't gone through a book launch before, the more in-person proof that you can take, pictures, videos, whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with, and then either putting it on socials or putting it on an author website. And Calvin, I'm saying for you, I'm just saying in general,
Yeah.
the more it provides this like psychological of like, oh, people want to read the book. People are looking at the book.
Well, apparently someone read something of it. Must have been just like a promo page or something. Because I
Mhm.
got this thing from I got a notification from Amazon like, hey, we're paying out your royalties, all 18 cents of it.
Like,
I'll be hon-
hooray.
I'll be honest, I almost fell on the ground laughing, but I thought it was kind of cool to think like, hey, I've actually made some money.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it's the idea behind it, isn't it? It's like the
Yes.
first. It's Calvin. It's almost like that the Scrooge McDuck. He's like that penny, the penny that started it all. I just imagine you, Calvin, like you're gonna be like a best selling author one day, and you're like 18 cents. You're gonna have like your nickel. You're like 18 pennies. And they'll be like on display.
Well, the pennies will probably be worth more than anything because they're going to stop making the penny soon.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
you're
true.
you're right. There you go.
So actually, I better go to the bank and go get those 18 pennies soon, just so I can black them up.
I was gonna
Oh
say
no.
you needed to get the email or whatever and just frame it.
Oh
That's an
nice.
idea.
So, but that's awesome. So it sounds like you're throwing out a lot of socials there. Are you going through Facebook? You said you're going through a bunch of Facebook groups as well.
A lot of Facebook groups that more or less go to indie authors, Kindles,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Ones
Mm-hmm.
that are like, hey, you don't have 20 reviews, so you're allowed to post on our site.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all 5 of my ARC readers lined up, so hopefully in the next week afterwards, I'll get some reviews
Mm-hmm.
because I still got to send out 2 copies to friends to be like, they're like, have you sent this to copies yet? I'm like, yeah. And meanwhile, I'm looking at them on my bookshelf.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's always the challenge, right? Because we need to get as many reviews on there because reviews are also what provides the social proof,
Hmm.
regardless of whether it's a good or bad book or not. We think that reviews provide enough social proof.
Well, like Jennifer always says, reviews are our lifeblood. Without reviewing, without critique, feedback, we're going nowhere. We're spinning our heels, spinning our
Mm-hmm.
wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but Calvin, that's really awesome. That's really awesome. I'm glad that you're pounding the pavement, so to speak, and trying to throw it out as much as possible, which sounds like that's all the right things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Try my best.
I mean, good luck, dude. Really.
Well, going by because I was in the earlier stream with Betsy, was her name? Damn it, now I can't think of her name. Not Devin, the other girl. We were
Wait,
talking
what?
about the different phases of business.
Oh, yes, with Becca Syme.
Becca,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Thank you. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you know me. I'm very horrible with names.
No, yeah, that was a great conversation. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know what Calvin's referencing, um, I'm the recruitment chair for the AuthorTube Writing Conference. We did a spotlight interview for one of our guests who's speaking at it. Her name is Becca Syme. She's a big author tuber, does a lot of coaching, but I interviewed her on the channel a little earlier today. You guys can all find it on the channel if you want to watch it after. But Calvin, as you were saying.
Oh, not that. I remember her saying that you have to make back what you invested, then you have to double that so you have room to grow. So I
Mhm.
was joking with my wife when we were talking. She's like, "So how much you got to make?" I said, "I got to make $4,000 to technically be out of phase one."
Mhm.
It makes sense.
I invested about half that into the book.
Mhm.
Half that with 2,000 would get me back what I invested. Another 2,000 would help me grow it.
And I think that's why the consistency, and I know that's something that Becca spoke to, the consistency aspect of it is so important, because especially with series like yours, Calvin, and I know people with series in general, people read the first book and they want to know what's next. And a lot of people won't buy a book in a series till it's completed. Some people will, a lot of people will, but some people won't, because they're like, okay, well, I don't want to go through part of it and then not have the story completed. So then I think the uphill battle that we all face, I'm going to be in the same exact boat as you, is how do I sell the one book as a first time author and convince people that the book is good enough and I'm consistent enough to come join me on the journey.
I have often thought about that one movie about the bad play where they're like, we'd make more money on a bad play than we on a bad show than we would a good show. I've
Mm-hmm.
often thought about just telling people, this is a horrible book. You got to read it. Just see what happens then.
Trying to do some reverse psychology there.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those when someone tells you not to do something, you're more bound to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Nicole speaks to definitely another factor of the model. You're like, about 80% of my sales come from brick and mortar stores, so it's definitely worth doing the footwork to get your book on shelves. Calvin, I know you said you're going to be at bookstores. Have you tried to get your book like in any of like your local bookstores at all?
I'm working on that. I've actually got
Mhm.
I've got a meeting with the first local bookstore that's opened up in like 20 years in Woodstock to
Ooh,
see
that's
if they would
exciting.
put just one or two books inside their store.
That's really really exciting. Hopefully you'll be able to get in there. I mean, the one thing we know about local bookstores is they love supporting local authors.
That is true.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely good luck with it, Calvin. Definitely when is the launch date for it? You
This
said in
Sunday,
5 days?
this
Sunday?
Sunday. Well, now
Sunday's the
4 days.
15th.
4 days.
Yeah.
You know what? Think about it. I gotta go on the right now later and update the countdown.
That's so exciting. And I think Sunday is literally just a I want to say Sunday I'm just doing a writing sprint stream. Oh, that's right, because it's Father's Day. I'm like, what am I doing on Sunday? That's right, because I didn't actually, because the stream is TBD. So yeah, definitely shout it out, Calvin, and we'll shout it out for you on Sunday when it launches.
Cool.
It's
Thank
super
you.
exciting. Guys, with Amazon, and this is just my unfamiliarity with it, is it going live exactly at midnight on
I
Saturday
will.
night at midnight?
I will
I'm
find out
curious.
Saturday at midnight. I will be sitting there just looking at it. Come on, 11:59, 59, 59, 12 midnight. Okay, good. I can order the book now.
Oh, that's so exciting, my friend. Well, definitely I hope you're getting some solid pre-orders. I hope you sell a bunch of copies, and good luck with the journey.
Thank you.
And but it sounds like you're going to be done with book 2 before you know it.
It's getting there. I am going to have to go back and do a lot of re-edits. I am going to have to go back to do a lot of re-edits and stuff just because some chapters I know I perused over really quickly just to get them done, just to be like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, I'm tired. I want to get to the
Get
next
through it.
chapter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think that I think that's totally a sound strategy, especially if we feel like if I stopped, it would like stop you from the progress that you're making.
You kind of feel like Rocky in that last round of the fight, just keep punching and punching and punching.
Yeah, I could actually totally resonate with that. I God, I feel like I'm punching and punching and punching with like 50 animals, but my like timing to write is like so like segmented between trying to actually get the writing done. Uh I feel your pain. Um this is interesting. I know let's see. Lynn said midnight usually at Eastern time. So it sounds like there you go, Calvin. Usually midnight Eastern time.
Well, I'm on Eastern time, so it would be midnight for
There
me
you go.
regardless.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, but that's all really really exciting, my friends. I mean, I think a lot of us are at the beginning of the journey, or maybe we're in the middle of it somewhere, and I think we as a community, we're able to kind of learn from others and from each other what's working, what doesn't work, and help each other spread the word out, right? I want you guys to be successful just as much I want to be successful for my own stuff. I think that's one of the great things about a writing community like this is that we can all support each other. And which is very similar with our AuthorTube community as well. They're all very supportive of each other. So, oh, by the way, Calvin, you should Soul is one. You guys should offer up giveaways for the AWC if you guys haven't already. They're accepting giveaways if you guys are trying to give away books, products, or services.
Oh, that would be nice. Maybe I can see if they'll just get a copy. They'll let me give away a copy or two of my book.
Yeah, we dropped the link. Let's see, Devin might have the link, but I know we dropped the link over in the one of the AWC stream earlier over on Devin's channel. So I definitely suggest going and going and checking that out.
That sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And I know we're accepting giveaways right up until the conference in a few weeks. So, and I mean, I think that's always a really great way. Like, I think as many ways as we can figure out how do we get our book and out there, right? Between online advertising, between getting into bookstores, between going and doing live events. I think also doing giveaways for virtual conferences, competitions, events is another really great strategy as well. Getting into any type of online community where you have readers who read your type of work. So like anything that's like, especially count with you as like military sci-fi. So like what types of communities love military sci-fi? My immediate go-to is Star Trek.
Yeah.
So did you end up experiencing anything like that for yourself, finding communities yourself when you were launching trying to advertise for Pirates?
I really did not. Marketing is the one thing where I kind of failed a little bit. I have a website and I keep it up. I've been keeping it updated. I actually need to finish updating because, not stealing Calvin's thunder, I'm not going to talk about it today because it's not till next week, but my next book's actually coming out on the 20th.
So you're not going to steal my thunder. We're going to share the thunder.
We're going to create lightning.
Yours is coming
out. Be a storm.
Yours is coming out Sunday. I can talk about mine next week because it'll be after our next writing stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as long as you're not going to miss your opportunity.
No, trust me. If my opportunity was today, no, I'd be taking it.
I'd be letting you have it.
Well, I mean, I think there's actually something kind of cool here. I mean, you guys are the ones who show up the most consistently with me for Writers Group, and you guys are the ones who are getting published. Right? Well, I know you already have a book published under your belt. And but Calvin, this one's your first book published, right, Calvin?
This is my first serious book published, Dad. I went through all the steps. Mm-hmm. Instead of just like, I just finished it, slapped it on Amazon, called it a day. This is my first real serious one.
Mm-hmm. How's it feel, this being this close to at least the finish line of this part of the journey?
Oh, it's exciting. It's just like it's just one of those, like, I keep telling my wife, I can't wait till Sunday. She goes, oh, because it's Father's Day? I said, no, because because my book's going to launch. And she's like, that's right.
Like that is the only present that you wanted. You're like, the book launch. Well, that is so exciting. So, and I mean, I know we have a bunch of other writers and authors in the community. Calvin will probably, I think what we're talking about, I know, so I've chatted about it with you and Courtney. I think something that we're going to set up is our Monday update streams here and right now. I think we've gotten into a process where certain months we have bigger updates, other months we have smaller updates, but I think I'm trying to include some more community highlights. So I know one of the things is our Faded Fantasy, the writers who didn't make the competition. We're wanting to highlight the writers who didn't make it because they made some awesome progress. But another thing we want to highlight is the work that writers in the community are doing, especially when they get their books launched. And I think we'll definitely make sure to be able to give you a little bit of a promo on Monday when people are here for the stream on Monday.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to create a form at some point to make it a little easier, but I'm already super familiar with your book, so it's not that big of a it's not a big of a deal. But yeah, so everybody in the community knows that we're going to try to help out the writers in the community by doing a community spotlight for newly published books, because we know, right? It's part of the process is trying to get the word out as much as possible, and we'll use our tiny slice 0.001% of the internet to do what we can here. So it looks like your friend there is taking over the stream.
Yep, because he's a little ham.
That's Crow, right?
Yep.
I'm not
Surprised
surprised.
you didn't hear him because he came in here yelling.
Crow seems to take over all the attention. I feel like Crow and Mr. Crow might have some things in common.
Do you?
He almost looked right at the camera. No, he is.
He's like, he knows I'm talking about him. Oh man, oh Maggie's like, all hail the feline overlords. You guys want to know something really interesting? Because when I think about cats and dogs, with Scarecrow, I intentionally did not include any cats or dogs in the first book. Of
I
all
remember
the
you
animals,
mentioning that.
of all the animal types, I thought about it for a really long time, because when you think about animals, cats and dogs are like the most
Common,
especially in this day and age, because they're the biggest household pet of all the animal species. And I think I intentionally did it so that way, because I think there's going to be a place in the lore why dogs and cats are no longer around. So if I do introduce a dog or a cat, the character can have some type of predominance or prevalence.
have they ascended to a higher plane of existence?
They might have.
I can see that with cats.
What was that?
I can see that with cats because they're pretty much just
Could be.
gods if you think about it.
It could be,
weren't
and I mean,
good
I
enough.
thought about playing around with something like that in a later book. Of that, there was a cat that had like ascended to like some type of like, or they thought that they had ascended to some type of like religious cult god status, and then dogs like the opposite and doing a whole like symbolism thing. So I played around with that idea a little bit as kind of like a little side backstory, but I haven't fallen either way. So cats and dogs would have left with their people. Yeah, if the people were still around to
No,
leave with.
dogs would have left with their people. Cats would have left with their servants.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Oh, and now you have to look smug.
Cats and dogs both have a reputation of protecting people and other animals from negative spiritual energy, so the Null had to get rid of them. That's probably it. Actually, there's realistically there's be a truth. I think with those types of animals, I'd have to do a little bit of research to determine what would be the best usage. But I mean, we played into the cat when we did Adventure Right Now. And we did our Hermes the Cat story, which everyone loved the story, by the way. And I mean, I think when we're both in a place to go back to it, I mean, so we'll probably hop back into it at some point and get the
My
story out.
computer will be done in a couple days, in like the next couple days.
Mhm.
So as soon as I have that back, because thank God for Best Buy, they're actually able to set it up completely for me, so that all I have to do when I come home is just plug it in, and then I can start downloading everything I need and start working on Crow, start working on just kind of everything that I need. I can get Unity downloaded, and I can actually start taking my games and, well, realistically start making them finally.
That's exciting.
Without worrying about
Very
my laptop
exciting.
done. I'm actually making a Discord for my indie studio as well. I might share that in the Right Now community when I start working on Hermes the Cats, but still kind of setting that up. So
Yeah,
I'm a little more concerned with Stone Age survival.
Well, guys, it's time for me to get going. I gotta go home. It is my daughter's birthday today, so I'm gonna go wish her a happy birthday.
Aw. Well, Calvin, have fun. Thanks for joining us today, my friend.
See you guys next week.
All right,
See
later,
you.
man.
Take care.
All right. Wow. So,
Your claws are hurting me.
Ah, man. It sounds like we're like story-wise, I'd love to hear what is everyone's mind when it comes to writing right now? Like is everyone feeling consistent with the writing, not so consistent, maybe a little bit of both. So it sounds like you're hard at work with your story. So it sounds like you're in a good place.
I am actually really surprised I've been able to stick with this. I mean, I know I'm usually working on my fan fictions, and I really need to work on Raging Inferno,
Mhm.
the final in the trilogy for the Pirate series.
Mhm.
But ever since I wrote that short story and I read it to my other writers group, they just love the characters so much. They're like, "Hey, so you got to finish this."
Mhm.
I have hardly touched anything else since I started it. I've been having that much fun with it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I mean, part of it is, well, it's not that they don't like my other work,
Mhm.
but they know me for my action scenes. They know how well I do action. They
Mm.
know how well I can actually make it sound interesting. They can actually follow it pretty decently. Apparently my romance is a lot better, which
Oh, really?
I just find hilarious.
Really? That's the case. It feels like your romance does a lot more.
Apparently I do better with emotional scenes than I do action, which I think is saying a lot.
Interesting. And that's the feedback is you're doing better with your emotional than your action scenes?
They have been able to follow this story a lot better than anything else I've written. They are liking it a
Interesting.
lot better, and they are not giving me nearly as much things that I need to fix. Before, I mean, I'd have like two or three things I had to fix
Mhm.
whenever I'd read them something.
Mhm.
Love you, baby. Um, but now, I think last night, it was literally two things
Mhm.
between five of the people.
Wow.
And even then,
That's
it was
actually really
really minor things. One of them
mhm.
was actually just clarification.
Mhm. That's actually really, really exciting. Does that make you feel even more like incentivized that you're like, all right, this is like the right story to be working on right now?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it does. In fact, I'm actually thinking that once I finish this book and then I finish Pirates, I
Mhm.
may actually delve into another romance. If I'm
Ooh.
doing this well with
Mhm.
one,
Mhm.
maybe I actually found my genre. Maybe I found my niche genre. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
like
clearly I'm good with
maybe this
action,
was a
but
sign. Maybe this is a sign to keep playing into this romance. Or wait, are you at is this a true romance for yours? That
this is a true
this is a
romance.
true
I have
romance.
written romance scenes.
Mhm.
My first fan fiction, which
Mhm.
I still have in the
Mhm.
background that I'm expanding, it does have romance elements in it. I have
Mhm.
a lot of other fan fictions where there's some kind of relationship going on.
Mhm.
This is the first time I'm actively pursuing that as the main thing in the story,
Mhm.
and it is working out really really well.
That is
And I
so
think part of it is
exciting.
just I'm developing a culture. I'm not just doing an action scene where, hey, somebody
Mhm.
does this and it turns out this way.
Mhm.
No, I'm actually developing a culture with people within it,
Mhm.
not just people that have a culture. And being able to do all that kind of world building is really helping with it, I think.
Mhm.
It's and plus it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna pick a few details here or there. No, man, I'm actually legitimately fleshing it out. So
That is so exciting. So, well, I definitely wishing you the best of luck, especially as you're getting to the end of this, and it sounds like already planning for the next for whatever the next book is.
whatever the next book is, yeah, no, I gotta finish Raging Inferno first because I do technically have a deadline for that one. So
You got to get your deadline for Raging Inferno. And was Raging Inferno the end of a trilogy, or is there more? I forgot.
that is no. Well, technically there is more, but it goes Burning Ember, Shifting Flames, and Raging Inferno, and then there's
Mhm.
two novellas that go
Mhm.
after it.
Mhm.
But technically Raging Inferno is the last one, and it's supposed to be a little longer than Shifting Flames. And I
Mhm.
do have that one planned out. I just haven't sat down and gotten past the first chapter because I started working on Bound by Song.
That totally makes sense. It, man, that's so exciting.
I
Ah,
just never thought I'd get this far.
and it sounds like we definitely have some enthusiasm in the community. Let's see what everyone else is up to. Devin, you're perhaps overly consistent. I don't. I think that's a great thing, actually, Devin. That seems like a great place to be overly consistent. Lynn, you're like, you write too much, but the day job is taking up too much time. I've been there too many times, my friend. Definitely. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta adult and do life, right? As much until we're in a place where we're doing the author lifestyle full time. The bills got to come first. The lifestyle and the bills. So totally get that.
Unfortunately.
Mama Maggie, like I'm just reading and beta reading right now. I usually take June off from writing because of AWC and things. Oh, it's good, cool. I mean, at least you're still getting stuff done. At least you're still being consistent and getting stuff done.
100% resisting starting to write something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this from personal experience. When you resist it, no, that's what you should be writing. I'm dead serious.
That is what you should be writing. And I think that's always an interesting one. So like I think when we're resisting the urge to write something, I'm wondering if it might be because it's probably like a time a time perspective. Like, okay, well, once I start writing on this, I have all these other responsibilities. And then that's gonna eat up all my time.
Well, sometimes I think it's resistant because, well, time, and sometimes I think it's also resistant because maybe it's some like for myself, for example, I was kind of resistant to writing a romance because
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with it. For me, the resistance was it was out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's time or comfort zone, no, if you're resisting it, no, write it because
Mhm.
that is exactly what you need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just one I think once you actually get into the groove, you actually do learn how to work around it when it comes to time.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to, it's not my genre, or I have other things that are more, I have other works that are more pressing, different things
Oh
like that.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think that's almost what pushes us to grow as well. Because I think a lot of times, so I'm not saying it's for you, but I'm just saying a lot of times what I see with writers is that where it's almost like there's a fear to take on certain types of projects.
Hmm.
And because there's that fear to take on that type of project, maybe it's I don't have the skill, maybe it's I don't have the experience, whatever it is, then they stop themselves from doing the project. When the reality is that the way to get the skill and the experience is by doing the project.
It's like finding a job.
Like,
You
yep,
find a job.
we're back at that catch 22, right? You
Yes.
to get a job you need experience, but to get yeah,
To get a job, you need experience, but to get the experience, you need the
you need a
job.
job. I'm like, I knew I was there. I was almost there. It's been a long day.
With writing, I think it's just with that experience,
Mhm,
just do what you can when you
mhm,
can.
mhm,
And honestly, that's kind of how I started with when I started with autocrate. And I only bring that up just because it's what made this notable for me.
mhm,
I started noticing that once I got consistent with doing so much writing in a day at minimum,
mhm,
it was easier for me to actually get in and do something. When the competition came up and it's like, oh hey, I'm going to enter this with a romance story. I think if I hadn't been consistent with how much I wrote a day, I would
mhm,
not have entered as quickly and as easily as I was able to. But
mhm,
because I was doing at least 1,000 words a day, it's like, okay, you know what? This might not be my genre, but I'm
mm,
already writing 1,000 words a day.
mhm,
I can do this easy, even if it's crap. I'm still doing 1,000 words a day, and that is better than nothing. And I can go back and I can edit because once I have 1,000 words, it's like, okay, I've already done this. Well, I'm already here. Why not keep working on it?
mhm.
And so I made myself get that experience by doing that, by putting myself in a position where it's like I can't ignore it, essentially.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And now you're at a point. So now that since you've done that, now it sounds like you've created a system that works for you, and clearly now you're almost done with this next book as a result from it.
Yeah, I do at least 1,000 words a day. I think the past week, maybe 2 weeks actually, I have been doing about 1,200 words a day at minimum. Last Saturday, I actually did 3,700, and that's because I got so into it. It's like I'm already here. I'm already writing. I'm actually enjoying
Mhm.
it. I'm getting the experience with writing this sort of thing, and it's just getting better.
That's so exciting, and it sounds like Devin's kind of in a similar goal There it says like your non-rush daily goal is 1,200 words per day for 4 days a week, and that's really cool. I wish I could have a word count goal per day. I wish I could. I feel like I'm too limited on my time now as much as I want to.
What if you
Imagine.
could? What if your limit? What if your minimum limit is 100 words? Surely you could
Well,
do
I mean,
100 words a day.
you see, I already do that. I do that on any writing sprint stream, regardless,
But
right? So you
still, the
see,
point is though.
my limit isn't a word count limit. My limit is a time limit on how much time, because I was like, I think when my schedule's a little bit more flexible, then I can commit to something because I'm not limited by it. But because I have so much um, on my plate, I feel like I might be setting myself up for failure. So now I would try to set those goals, but then not even be able to hit them, because then I wouldn't have the time to be able to do what I want to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I feel like for right now, like it's with me, and I think this is what's been working with me for Scarecrow. Maybe I'll adjust for book 2. We'll see. But I think what's working for me is setting a weekly goal and how far I want to get through at this part of the story. And usually I'm able to reach that. I'm doing about anywhere between 1 to 3 chapters a week, depending on the length, as compared to like a specific word count. I probably would be going faster with the word count goal personally. I definitely would be. But I'm just not at the point in life where I can.
No, yeah, no, you've got enough on your plate, so it does make a lot more sense for
Mhm.
you to have not a word count,
Mhm.
but just simply a chapter, 2 chapters, 3
Mhm.
chapters, or or
Mhm.
like you said, a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I really hope that once I get through the first book, I think my goal will be to figure out how can I adjust my overall schedule and lifestyle so that way I can commit more substantial time to writing outside of the live streams. Well, I write outside the live streams, but to a more to a larger amount than what I currently do. So that way I can set higher word count goals so I can finish future projects on a little bit more of a consistent basis. And that's going to be my goal. But I'm super happy with the journey. And this is the thing that I think is awesome. I love the writing journey, right? I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop. So like I'm going to keep going through this and learning. And whenever book 1 is done, it's done. And then I'll figure out and I'll assess how I'm going to tackle the second book, or if I take a break for a writing based book. We'll see. I'll have to see how I feel.
And really, that's the important thing is the fact that you're happy with doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm having so much fun with Scarecrow. My goodness, I'm having so much fun creating this world. It's incredible, an incredible experience. And
People who have fun creating their works have the best works, to be honest. At least that's what I've seen, is if you're writing for money or
Mhm,
you're writing just to write, and I mean just like straight flat out writing to write, it doesn't mean it's going to be crap. But it's not going to be as good as the people who sit there and actually enjoy what they're doing. And you can always tell when somebody's enjoying what they're working on, because the story might have more details, the characters feel more alive, or just like when they do like streams like this, you can actually
mhm,
hear it, you can see it. It's obvious.
mhm.
It's obvious in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I mean, I think then the balance becomes once you get further into your career of how can you retain that same passion and love once you get to a certain stage or you start generating enough revenue, being able to do more.
So, I actually think that ties into why you want to write in the first place. I know for myself, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love money coming in from my books. I think anyone would.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not once been concerned with that. My thinking is, if I don't like what I'm doing, I'm not going to work on it. If I'm not enjoying what I'm writing, then the people that read it aren't going to enjoy it either.
Mm-hmm.
The fan fictions I actually still get regular comments on.
Mm-hmm.
One of them actually got a comment on last week that I haven't touched for a couple months now. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh my god, you need to finish this." And then I read back through. I read like the last few chapters I published, and it's like, yeah, no, it was clear I was very much enjoying this part. But then I look back at what I have currently, and it's like, oh, I actually kind of hate this part. No wonder I'm not working on it, because I'm not enjoying it, and so the reader's not going to enjoy it. And it's going to be the same with making money. Is
Mm-hmm.
you might be making money, but it's if you're not enjoying it, why do it? At least it's my thing.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is I realized about myself a while back that a lot of people that I've seen throughout my life, and especially working through customer service for many years, I think a lot of people are able to manage and navigate working a job where they can be content or kind of happy with. A lot of people do that because
Yeah.
they pay bills, of course, and responsibilities and all those things. And something that I realized about myself was that for me, that wasn't sustainable because I was only interested in having a lifestyle where I love what I do.
Yeah.
The downside to that, not the downside, but the obstacle is to make that accessible and successful. There's varying, different, and greater hurdles to overcome to make that a reality.
Yeah. Do what you love and the money will come is a popular saying, but my God, they
Mhm.
don't tell you how difficult that can be.
Yeah, and I mean it's obviously a little bit of a different journey for everyone, but I think it's yeah, I mean it's interesting. All right, let's see. I am going to set us up, I think, for another. Let's get into I think a writing sprint would probably be good. I want to see if we can try to get some writing. Give me just a second.
I like Ward's comment.
What's
They
that?
don't tell you that for every hour you spend writing, that you spend 4 editing. Yeah, that sounds about right.
For every 1 hour writing, you spend 4 editing.
Yes.
That's good for me.
That is about the truth.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what's really interesting is that there is so many parts of the writing process. So for one person, writing and the revision stage might be different than somebody who has to like go back and like overhaul the whole thing and do heavier editing. I think
Yeah.
that's why there's such a difference in time and what it would actually how long it actually takes to do all the things.
Yeah. I know I usually try to get my editing done. What I usually do is I write a chapter and then I go back and edit. I mean, I still go
Mhm.
back and edit like more times afterwards, but I try to get
Mhm.
like the first edit done the moment the chapter's done.
Mhm.
Plus, that way, my chapters do tend to be a little on the long side, and
Mhm.
it's a lot easier to catch problems. I've noticed if I do that.
Mhm. That totally makes sense.
God, I think that's why it took me so long to actually finish editing with Burning Ember. Is just there were so many things I was missing in some of the longer chapters.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Bear with me. It is not giving me the setup that I want. Um, mm, it's being annoying. Okay. All right. So it's all right. I guess showing my writing software today. So all right. Okay. So here's what we are going to do, and I'm loving all the conversations here in the chat. Aw. It sounds like we're definitely getting some great writing vibes. So I'm just going to I'm queuing up my the writing software stuff. For some reason the slideshow wasn't working today. It's kind of being a pain.
Weird.
Yeah. There we go. And as I was saying that it wouldn't work, then it started working. Like, of course. Okay, so there we go. So let's see. So we are at 5:52. So let's go 40 minutes. I was like, let's go 45 minutes. I feel let's get a solid writing sprint in and see what progress we can make. All right, there we go. All right, and I got us all set and all queued up. So I am all set. So come join us to get some writing in. We're going to get a little bit of a writing sprint and try to make a little bit of progress with our storytelling today. Here we go. And perfect. So we are all set to go. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, revising, or just doing a little bit of author branding or something else in between, come join us because it's time to write now. All right, and that was the writing sprint. How did you do? Were you guys able to make any progress that time? We'd love to hear. Drop a comment. Let us know. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Susan, you did a couple pages. Hopefully to do more. By the way, my why? Welcome to the stream. Like, you finally wrote a short story today. Finally got done. It was 4 paragraphs long. Congratulations, my friend. Glad you're able to get a little work in. Devin added 2,925 words for the day so far. Great work. So, how about you? What'd you accomplish today?
See, finish a chapter for a fanfic, and I think I'm midway through the next one.
Nice. I made a little bit of progress on this. Let's see. Yep, this sounds about right. Got about. Oh wow, yeah, wow, I did about 1,000 words. Nice.
Nice.
I'm like, wow. But the first third of that was revision, so that's why it's kind of hard because I'm in revision. It's like some is revising, some is like adding words. I do have a really cool badass character though. And they're not a main. They're okay. I can't give too much away since they're involved in the story arc. But have you seen Adventure Time?
I adore that show.
The power that I took for this creature was influenced by one of the characters from Adventure Time, from Marceline's power.
Which one?
Right, the one she's known for, her color power, with as the vampiric color power.
Okay.
I asked myself if I could create an ability that uses color and really uses color as a means for like taking from creatures, and I had created this crazed rabbit creature whose eyes, they're kind of like a cross between Marceline's ability and from Alice in Wonderland, the what's the crazy cat? It's a cat, right?
The Cheshire Cat?
The Cheshire Cat. It's kind of like a cross between the two of those.
It's an interesting mix.
But they're extremely unreliable. So it's like I'm really trying to create like a specific vibe with this like type of rabbit character who's like mentally like not there at all.
Oh, those are always fun characters to work with.
Exactly. So yeah. So that's what I'm doing. It's because this character has just been reintroduced again, and they play a role in this this midpoint story arc that I'm currently on. So it's fun. Having fun, having a blast. I introduced so many. I just have so many different types of characters in my world. I think that's what it is. I have so many different types of characters, and I'm especially at a part of the story where I'm introducing a lot, kind of like what you do with your stories. So the question I ask myself is like, okay, well, I need to make certain characters feel realistic and evil or unstable or whatever in their own right, while still recognizing they're not a major antagonist and they have to stand alone while without overshadowing later antagonists or obstacles who have to be or come across more
Yeah,
evil or more badass or whatever. So
those are always interesting to work with.
mhm. So yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun. I feel like the problem I keep getting into over the past couple weeks is I'm at a good part and I want to keep writing, and then I have to call it. Oh
No, I
man,
get that.
yeah. I was kind of hoping that maybe I could do like a longer day writing session. Which once I was done with Fade Fantasy, we'll see. I might have to get through the AWC. I might have to get into July first before I can, but we'll see.
Well, that'd actually be really neat. That might be a good idea, not just for you, but for anyone who else who needs a day that's just kind of gives them a bit of a push.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I feel like we were able to make some solid writing in today, and it sounds like everyone in the community got some good words in.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you. We had a great conversation today, especially as we come to our 50th WriteNow Writers Group meeting. Thank you everyone so much for joining. And by the way, for anyone who didn't already, if you enjoyed the stream, follow and subscribe. We're here every day with the WriteNow community. We got all the different writing types of streams, whether you're looking for critique shows to get feedback on your story, writing sprints, writers group. We just had our fiction contest. We got conferences and so much more. This is a writing community that's going to help you with consistency and accountability. So make sure to smash that follow or subscribe button. You'll be alerted when we go live. And so I feel like we had some solid conversations today. Really good luck with finishing your book, and especially as you're about to reach another publishing milestone for you next week, it sounds like.
Yes, it's gonna be fun. Anyone who's on the Discord, probably in the next week or so, I will be showing a tentative cover, or at least base cover design for Bound by Song. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and definitely anybody who wants to keep the conversation going and come hang out with other writers in the community, make sure you join us on Discord. Link down in the YouTube description. That's where we got all the memes, the conversations, the feedback, the announcements, and everything as well, if you want to stay connected. And I think that's all I got for you today. We'll be back next week with the WriteNow Writers Group. Same time, same place. 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily writing sprint stream. Tomorrow's the 12th, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Come join me as we'll get some more writing in today, and we will see what is up. I saw definitely some creativity here in the chat. So thank you all for joining. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm Kaufman, and this is
Chat Soul and Crow.
And we'll catch you on the next stream.
Right now.
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 Because it's time